Comments would come in, and usually within 24 hours, I'm on those comments, I want to answer. But at times I would see them, and like, no shade to you guys or anything, but I was just not motivated, and I was just like, this is exhausting, and I think it would take me about 3 to 4 days to answer messages. Oh yeah, I actually should change that since I'm not going to be posting every single Friday. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's been a little over a month since I last posted my last video. So what actually happened is I reached, I guess, the end stages of burnout. So when it really hit me is when YouTube sort of became extremely hard for me to do. And this is something that I'm passionate about. I enjoy educating and advising young people on how to get through this journey of life, in a sense, but also how to get through university properly, advising people of things that they don't know, so that you don't go through the same mistakes, or you don't go through the same struggles that I have, and hence me telling you this story. So when it came to that point where I didn't want to record YouTube videos, I didn't want to script, like even answering comments became a chore for me. Like I remember comments would come in, and usually within 24 hours, I'm on those comments, I want to answer. But at times I would see them, and like, no shade to you guys or anything, but I was just not motivated, and I was just like, this is exhausting, and I think it would take me about 3 to 4 days to answer messages. So if you did comment during this period, I'm extremely sorry. I am sure I've gotten back to your comment, and I've replied to you as best as possible, but for me it was just hard to get back into the swing of things. And in the beginning, I didn't even realize that was what was happening. I just thought, I'm tired, I'm under pressure, I've got a lot of clinical hours to finish, I've got a lot of projects to finish. But when the project stopped, I finished my exams. Like, I literally had one exam. And then now we're just working. I've got like 2 or 3 days off. I'm so tired. And the thing is, I would sleep. Like, it became like a really extreme thing. But like, I think most weekends I would just be sleeping. Like, I'm tired, I want to do anything. Literally, I would wake up, bath, exercise, and watch movies the rest of the time. So when it comes to that, I'm like, no, then this is definitely not pressure from school, because the pressure from school has sort of calmed down. It's just me and clinical hours, and with work isn't that too bad. But yeah, I definitely do think it started in second year. Am I proud of it that YouTube has sort of become the cause of that? I mean, yes and no. Obviously, I'm going to somewhat regret starting the YouTube channel, because my average has gone down. It hasn't gone down like extremely badly, but we can see that those 1% that are going down every single year are not looking great. Sorry, mom. But something beautiful has come out of it, and I don't regret that. And obviously, going forward, I need to learn how to manage both at the same time, because I still need to graduate, and we're still aiming for that cum laude and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's just one of those realizations that have hit me in the face, like, damn, okay, I really thought I was managing myself well. I really thought, I was productive queen, I'm doing a lot, I've got school, I've got YouTube, I'm working part-time and stuff like that, and you really think you're getting it together, and then it hits you in the face like, well, okay, I guess it's not. Now you have the background of what was happening. So now I'm going to be telling you about the 5 stages that you go through when you're burnt out, and then I'm going to give you the signs and symptoms to look out for. Then at the end, I'm going to give you some advice on how to move forward if you have found yourself in this stage of life. So to begin, I think it's important for us to define what is burnout, because a lot of people confuse burnout, stress, and even depression, because they somewhat have similar symptoms. So burnout is a syndrome and not a medical diagnosis. It is caused by chronic work or academic stress that has not been successfully managed, and leads to negative reactions such as emotional, physical, and mental reactions such as exhaustion, frustration, lack of motivation, and reduced ability in school. So what is the difference between stress and burnout? So stress is having too much on your plate. So too many projects, too many tests, too many responsibilities, too many things that you have to get done. Whereas burnout is not having enough not having enough motivation, not having enough energy. And the same can be said for misinterpreting depression for burnout. In most cases, burnout is work or academic related and does not affect your day-to-day life, whereas depression affects all aspects of your life and leads to symptoms such as hopelessness, worthlessness, and not wanting to live, leading to suicidal ideations. So, the 5 stages of burnout. So, the first stage is the honeymoon phase. This is when you're starting a new thing. It's either you're starting a new semester, a new year, a new project, etc. You've got that burst of energy, you're excited. But as a result of that, we sometimes mask the symptoms of us actually being tired by adapting coping mechanisms which might not be healthy. And most of the time, those adaptive coping mechanisms work in the short term. But as a result, every single time that we experience these feelings of exhaustion, of being tired, we use those same coping mechanisms, which lead to bad habits and slowly leads to a downhill spiral of negative coping mechanisms, of signs and symptoms of burnout. So next stage is the onset of the stress phase. So eventually the honeymoon phase dwindles down and you start experiencing stress. However, the stress doesn't happen every single time. You have little bursts of stress here and there. So in this stage, you might start noticing the signs and symptoms of burnout. This includes losing focus more easily. You are less likely to complete your task. You're not as easily productive as you usually are, or what your normal state would be. You're no longer motivated to do much stuff, and this is when mostly fatigue sets in. Obviously, this fatigue, you need to rule out the physical aspects of things. Obviously, if you're not sleeping well, if you're not eating well, then obviously that can be related to that. But if you're eating and sleeping well and you're still feeling tired, it might be a sign and symptom of burnout setting in. So the third stage is the chronic stress phase. So this is when you reach a point where the stress has become more persistent or is chronic, and your signs and symptoms become a bit more extreme. So for example, you start becoming more apathetic, you may start socially withdrawing, you might even not complete any of your tasks because you just don't feel like it, and the stress actually ends up overwhelming you than helping you, because a little stress can be helpful. And then next is when you reach the point of burnout. So burnout phase is the stage where you've reached your limit and you're no longer able to function as you normally would. You might even experience some physical symptoms such as headaches and gastrointestinal problems, and also you might feel numb and feel extreme self-doubt. So the last stage is habitual burnout phase. So this is when burnout is not being treated properly, or it's not being treated at all, and it happens frequently, and this might lead you to having anxiety and depression. So it's very important that you are nipping it in the bud when it happens the first time. So physical symptoms include feeling exhausted no matter how much sleep you get, leading to fatigue and insomnia, experiencing a change in appetite, increased pain and tension in your body, which can be manifested as headaches, sore muscle aches, and jaw tension. The emotional symptoms include lack of motivation to either attend classes or start assignments, lack of inspiration and creativity to bring projects or to class discussions, and in my case that was with YouTube, loss of confidence in academic abilities. And then behavioral symptoms include social isolation, increased bad habits such as overeating, staying up late, not performing your responsibilities, and work-related anger outbursts. And the last part of this video is how do you deal with burnout? So the first step is you actually need to come to acceptance that you actually burned out. I know I was in self-denial for a really long time, and it became dangerous because the coping mechanisms that I was using were not addressing the real root of the problem, and as a result things just escalated more and more. Even though it was small incremental increases, it reached a point where it literally burst in my face and things went out very quickly. The second thing is you need to take a step back from whatever is causing you stress, or just take a step back from your responsibilities and just do a proper evaluation of what is happening in your life. What do you think is causing you stress? What do you think is making things worse, etc.? And that is why I decided, well, I didn't really decide. I was thinking I was going to take 2 weeks off, but it ended up being a whole month and a little bit. but just taking break from those responsibilities and just reevaluating what is happening. So for me, it was evaluating, am I really managing my responsibilities well? Am I actually doing everything properly? Am I actually managing my time properly? Is YouTube worth it going forward? Should I stop YouTube altogether? That sort of thing, because I can't leave my degree and that sort of thing. So just taking that time to reroute yourself, actually see how much you can handle. And this leads to number 3. You need to know your limits and learn to say no. I know this is a big one for me because I somewhat am a people pleaser. I want to help everyone, I want people to depend on me and that sort of thing. But most of the time that backfires on me because I already have a lot on my plate as an individual, and then taking up other people's responsibilities ends up making things a lot worse than they were. So knowing your limitations, knowing where you say no, where your capacity is at 80%, and don't exceed that, because that 20%, anything can change within your normal life circumstances, and they need that 20% of energy or mental capacity to be able to handle all those changes. So if you're filling it to capacity, you won't have a place to spill over on. Set realistic goals and don't put too much pressure on yourself. For example, with me, there's a lot that I want to get done, academics, work-wise, and YouTube-wise. There's a lot of things that I want to do. Simple example, with YouTube, I want to be doing collaborations. I want to be growing my Instagram. I want to be growing this channel. There's a lot of things that I want to be able to do with you guys. There's a lot of projects that I want to start, and me being the dreamer that I am, those things can overwhelm me. I get too excited and I want everything to get done, and it's not realistic to where I am in life right now. Right now, my focus should be on being a student, and being a content creator somewhat full-time should come after I've graduated, because I really do not want to mess up this degree and that sort of thing. So just being realistic with yourself with what you can handle with your responsibilities currently. In addition to that, I have officially decided that I'm going to be posting a video every 2 weeks. If you do get a video every week, then things are going great, but I'm going to be dedicating myself to 2 videos minimum in a month. I think that's a good medium. The next thing is you need to make time for social and enjoyable activities, something just to get you out of your head, to just allow you to be able to de-stress, to think clearer. And also in those moments when you're having fun, you're laughing, you actually have better reflections of actually what is happening in your life. Because when you're in the middle of something, it's very difficult for you to see the bigger picture of everything that is happening. So just having those social activities allows you to step back from your situation, actually analyze everything that is happening to make a proper decision going forward. Another thing that you can do is exercise. Trust me, exercise is great. It's almost like being in a social activity. You are increasing your heart rate. Trust me, you will never regret exercising. You actually regret not having exercise. It allows you to feel strong. It pumps you with endorphins. You feel much happier afterwards. You just feel great about yourself, and it just allows you to de-stress. Trust me, lifting those weights and just putting all your frustrations, or imagining those dumbbells as your frustrations, and then dropping them on the ground, best feeling ever. Trust me, I do that. Another thing that you need to get on track is time management. You need to set a schedule. You need to have set days when certain things happen. It prevents you from procrastinating, because procrastinating will always be there. You will never defeat procrastination. You need to be able to work smart with it. I'm going to be doing a video soon on how to combat procrastination, how to study, and all of that jazz. So I'll focus more on that in that video. But it's very important that you get your time management together, because if you're wasting time into not getting things done when they should be done, then obviously that adds more to your stress, because things are just piling up more and more, and it's just making your situation worse than it needs to. And the last thing is you need support. When you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling tired, you're stressed, you need people that you're able to talk to, that are able to support you. You can go rant, you can go rant to them and just tell them what's happening, and they can help support you. But they might also be the ones that will actually tell you that something is going on, what is happening. I know my mom was like noticing that, there was a little bit of slacking that was happening in some of my Instagram comments. And like when she said it, I was like, that is so strange, and that sort of thing. But just having people that can watch out for those signs and symptoms and actually give you that heads up, like, look, I think this is what's happening, let's do this and move forward, and that sort of thing. So it's important that we're having those relationships with our family, our friends, our partners, so they can just help us to get through this. So I really hope you are inspired, you're made aware because of my story. I really don't want you guys to get to the stage where I am, because for some it actually ends up into extreme cases, dropping out of school. And sometimes you might even think, oh my gosh, I don't enjoy this degree anymore, because you're burnt out, and that lack of motivation can sort of make you not want to do what you naturally enjoy or what you used to enjoy. So I really don't want you guys to get to that point. So definitely do take these tips seriously. It does happen, and as we're entering the new semester, let us go into it, prepared for what is about to come, so that we can actually conquer this year and pass. So until next week, Friday, 12 p.m. South African time, have an awesome one. Bye, guys. Oh yeah, I actually should change that, since I'm not going to be posting every single Friday. Until next time, bye, guys.